Hey y'all. So, I just needed to deliver these messages that are coming to me. So it's no cards, and barely any lighting. Okay, um, but yeah, let me get straight to it. So, all right. Um, so somebody's been worrying about um like something. Long story short, you got some overdue bills. Okay. Um. So first, I need to tell you, like, worrying is not going to like make the situation any better. Um. It's really just only going to just add stress to everything that you have going on. Okay. So I know it's like much easier said than done, but just try your hardest to not worry. If you have been in any position before, which I know you have, Spirit is letting me know that like this is not the first time that you've had bills that you didn't know how you were gonna pay, or that you were just going through something that was very challenging or very worrisome for you. Um, so with that being said, this ain't your first go around, okay? This is not your first rodeo, okay? And things work themselves out in the past, whether you acknowledge it like that or not, because I'm getting, for some of y'all, things like this have taken place in the past and they didn't end in a way that you felt they needed to. So by that, that could be like I'm getting, um, you're so worried now because this has happened in the past, and maybe something got cut off, or a car got repoed, or um, even you lost your place of residence, or um, just like y'all know the situation, right? But spirits wanted me to remind you that um, not only has there been times where literally out of the blue, okay, something took place and boom, your bill was taken care of, right? Whether that be you got an announcement at work that you could pick up extra hours, whether it be somebody, just randomly sent you some money, whether that be you actually spoke up and asked somebody to help you and they were able to help you. Um, Whether you had already applied for like some type of assistance, but you were worried because you weren't sure you were going to get approved for it, and then boom, you got your approval form. Stuff like that has taken place for you in the past. So please be reminded that, look, it's happened before, it can happen again. Okay. Um, Also, I'm getting a song by Ty Tribbett. Um, what is it called? I'm not sure what the actual title of the song is called, but I do know it goes, if he did it before, he can do it again. Same God right now. Um, so yeah, basically, I mean that's pretty clear. Um, so whatever you believe in, just know that the higher power sees you. They know what's going on, and if in fact this happened before, to work out in your favor, it will surely happen to work out in your favor again. Now, for those who are on the other end of the spectrum, where um, things seem to not work out, right? In from your perspective of like you end up losing something or whatever. But please, Spirit wants me to like remind you or let you know that you have to start seeing things from a different perspective, from a different viewpoint, because sometimes we can become very complacent and we can become very comfortable in certain settings or around certain people, places, and things, and we don't acknowledge when they are no longer serving us, or when it's just time to, have a transition, a change, or just some type of shift. And sometimes it comes in a way that's not so beautiful, right? And let me give an example of my own personal experience like that, because maybe this is something you could possibly be going through right now. So an example for me is, so at one point in time, like I worked on my credit and all that, and like I was actually able to go to a dealership of choice, not just buy here, pay here, or trying to buy a car from somebody, or going to an auction or whatever. Like, I actually worked on my credit, and I was like, okay, cool, I can actually go to the lot I want to go to. I can pick out the car that I'm seeking to pick out, whatever, right? So, got my nice shining new car, and I'm rolling and everything, and had it for quite some time. And then bills got to catching up with me. I'm a single mom, bills got to catching up with me, and also just holding myself accountable. I was being irresponsible with my spending habits as well, right? Just being real, okay. And long story short, my vehicle ended up being repo, and what's so crazy about it is the timing that it happened. It was wild, y'all. Like, they came, like, I don't know if it was Christmas Eve or if it was, I want to say it was like a couple days before Christmas, because I had like my kids' Christmas stuff in the trunk and like the wrapping paper and stuff, because my son, he nosy, so his little butt would have been all up in my closet. So I had like the stuff in the trunk because I knew he couldn't really go in there or whatever, at least without me knowing, right? But like, so I was so upset by that. Like, I mean, I was hot, like, but I couldn't really like be upset with nobody but myself, right? Overall, really. But I was just upset how they did it and how they, you know what I'm saying, right? I'm like, dang, right before Christmas, huh? Fuck me and my kids. But so like, it just was not a fun time, nor a fun experience. Then I had to figure out, how to get me another vehicle, blah blah blah, right? So anyway, I ended up getting me like another vehicle. Now, granted, it was nothing in comparison to the vehicle that I had went and got, right? I mean, the one that they had gotten repo. So it was, in a sense, if we want to talk about certain terms to explain what I'm trying to say, is, long story short, like, it was a downgrade, okay? And yet I still was grateful in that season. And the main reason was because, like, how could I be upset? I had transportation. You get what I'm saying? It was like, yeah, no, it probably wasn't what I was used to or what I had, worked so hard to get, and then, was taken from me or whatever. But I still was just in a state of gratitude, because I just know, like, I know the struggle of having to, catch a bus, or have to catch rides from people, have to pay people gas money, or have to catch, take Lyfts and Ubers and whatever. Like, I've experienced all those different things, and maybe not to the certain degree of what other individuals have, but I have had those experiences, and I know that even if it's just temporary, it's not fun, it's expensive, and most of us pretty much just want to be able to get up and go when we want to get up and go, and not have to wait on others or rely on others, right? So, if that's your present circumstance, I just want to say, I send you so much love, and like, just stay strong through the process, because ultimately everything works together for our good, right? And I'm not finished telling y'all my story, but I just needed to stop for a moment and at least say that. But anyway, so I go on to express that. So while I had this new car, whatever, the thing was like I said, I just remained grateful through the whole process. I would always tell guys, like, you know what, God, I'm just grateful, that I do still have transportation, regardless of if it was exactly what I, had or not, right? I couldn't do anything but just be grateful. And another funny thing about that in itself was, as crazy as it was, the car that I ended up getting after they repoed the car I got from the car dealership, the funny thing about it was it was a manifestation of mine, because the car that I ended up getting was a car that when I was much younger, I kept saying, "Oh, I want one of them cars." You know what I mean? Like, "Oh, I like that car. I'm gonna get me one of them cars one day." I never had ended up getting that car until this time and space, right? So I thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, "Okay, guy, you got jokes, because I don't know about y'all, but the guy that I serve is funny, honey. I mean, like, has a heck of a sense of humor, but you just gotta catch it. You know what I'm saying? But no, anyway, so let me hurry up, get to my point. So my point is, I had that car, was moving in the space of gratitude with that car, still going through things and whatever, right? Single mom, still just figuring things out. And that vehicle was giving me trouble. It was overheating. That was really the main thing. I mean, it had a couple other things, but whatever. That was the main thing. Like, it was overheating on me, and I just had to do what I had to do and make do with what I had, And so at that time, that's what I had, and I still had to make it to and from work. So I was figuring it out, right? So anyway, this day in particular, I left work. It overheated on me. Now I was on the highway when this happened, trying to just kind of get to where I needed to be as quickly as I could, and then just like pull over to the side and let it cool down and whatever. In my mind, that was logical at the time. It made sense. Whatever. But so I'm over on the side of the highway, letting the car cool down. This is a high traffic highway, especially during that time, because it was rush hour, evening traffic. But that's neither here nor there. I was in the emergency lane, so not in the highway or anything like that. Literally pulled all the way over by the guardrail, and I was rear-ended by an elderly guy while I was just sitting there letting my car cool down. Like, literally didn't even see it coming, because I was just kind of sitting there and just like I want to say, I don't know if I was daydreaming or if I think I was listening to an Audible book at the time, truthfully, because at that time, like, I was just in my you could say like an awakening phase that I was going through. So I was, at the time, I was like really interested in this book called Manifest Now by Adil Ahmed. I don't know if y'all familiar with that, but y'all can go check that out. Really, really good book. But anyway, so I really wasn't even like, paying attention to looking at my rear view and all that, because I thought I was okay at that. Just at least for that time, it wasn't like I was sitting there real long. I literally probably was only sitting there for, I don't know, maybe I don't know, y'all, maybe like 10 minutes. It really was not that long that I was sitting there, and I just like heard this crunch type noise, and then felt like a I don't know, like a jarring type sensation where like I just like, like my body kind of got thrown forward or whatever. um, and I felt my car like move. And then like I always would keep this Bible that belonged to my passed on grandfather. I keep it in my dashboard of the car, and my passed on grandmother, who are, listen, my spirit squad is, we deep out here. But anyway, so my grandmother, she actually gave him that Bible, so it just has great significance to me, especially in this specific scenario. But anyway, so the Bible ended up like flying literally from the dashboard across between the steering wheel and between me, and then literally landed like on my right side in the car. And thankfully, like, everybody was okay. The elderly man, I think he was, a little startled, and like I think he even actually may have like hit his head or something and kind of was unconscious for a second. But I could go into more detail about that, but I'm not. Long story short, my point is that that, as crazy as it was and unexpected as it was, that put me in a position to, okay, I'm not even sure exactly what I was last saying because I had to pause the video, but my point in saying everything is that that situation took me from me having an issue of getting the car that I actually worked hard and was able to go pick out that I really wanted, to something that I still liked and I was still grateful for, but it was just in a sense a downgrade, but still a blessing at the same time, right? To something random and crazy and chaotic taking place, that still seemed to really work out in my favor, because like I told y'all, the car was overheating, so I was already having issues with that car, kind of not really knowing what I was gonna do because I still had that repo on my credit. So I was like in the process of trying to work and get that cleared off of my credit at the time. So I'm like, man, I got this car cutting up on me. I can't really, go to the dealership because not only do I have one repo on my credit still, but still working to rebuild, my credit at the time. But anyway, Lord, what was I about to say? Oh, but anyway, that situation, once that man rear-ended me, thank God, like, I was okay. Thank God he was okay. Cause like I say, that was literally like a freak accident, y'all. And like I said, I'll talk more about that another time, because it's more that I want to talk to just when it comes to like crystals and angels and blah, blah, blah. But just to stay focused on my point, that situation ended up with me being able to get some time off work, in a sense, not really, but when I say that, I mean, like, I have been working. Like, I'm the type of person, like, I just work. Like, I'm gonna go to work, baby. That's one thing I'm gonna do. The only thing that's gonna really keep me from that circumstance is if my kid is, ill or something like that. But and even then, like, it was so many days where, like, because I have a child who has epilepsy and he's special needs, so even then, like, long as if I had to leave to go, to the hospital or whatever, had to go, like, I'm still gonna make sure I, get my work and whatever. But anyway, so I always really just hold on to like my PTO just in case I had an emergency with my son. So I never really took a lot of like just me days, like vacation day for me or whatever. So it kind of worked out in my favor because I was able to kind of leave work a couple days out of the week. I really want to say, yeah, it was a couple days out of the week to go to the chiropractor, right? Which, I mean, like I say, it was just a whole blessing for me because I really wasn't that messed up, y'all. I was a little sore. I had whiplash or whatever, but I was fine. So technically, me going to the chiropractor was just like a blessing because that stuff felt good to me. Got to get on the water bed and he popped my back a little bit. That felt good. And I just go and I stretch and whatever. So that was time away from work, and then I was kind of just, in a sense, kind of getting some TLC or whatever. But ultimately, my point is, I ended up getting a whole new car that I fell in love with. Because when I say y'all, it was like, that's a whole nother something in itself when it comes to my angels. Because I know my angels got me that car. Trust me. But anyway, so I just needed to talk about that and express that to someone, because Spirit just kept, like, telling me I needed to get on here and talk to somebody right now, because you're going through something where you feel like either you've already lost some things, or that you are in a possible situation where you could lose some things or whatever. And just know that, you've been through these things before. You're going to be able to move past this. You're going to be able to, pay your bills or whatever. And let's just say if the worst case scenario happens that you're thinking of, okay, just know that it really is, like, so true when they say everything works together for our good. Because even if you're in a situation where you gotta move or whatever and whatnot, even if you have to move and something becomes temporary where you're uncomfortable and you don't really like where you're at, or whatever, like, there's going to be a shift, as long as you trust and believe and you're grateful through the process, and you put the work in that you need to put in, there will be a shift that then just kind of like propels you forward and puts you back in a better, if not at least the same scenario that you're in. So just hold your faith. Just hold your faith. Trust and believe that everything's gonna work out. It's gonna work out, even if it starts to not seem like it, because we can get those tired moments and shit can just feel like it's all over the place, a whole wreck, a whole mess. You don't know if you're coming and going or whatever. But I just came to y'all to express to y'all, like, from somebody who's been through different things, like many different things, that, like, you gonna get through it. You were gonna get through it. And I got 22 on the timer. So listen, that was confirmation, and I'm actually going to just leave on that note. I'm not going to say anything else. I'll do another video if I need to say anything else, but that's that. So love y'all. Y'all have a good night, or day rather, whenever y'all watch this. All right, see ya.